What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Xtra Innings Podcast. Your host here, Elijah. We're back today with another episode. Fresh off of just watching some baseball right now. It's Saturday afternoon. Going to have this one out here today, so pretty solid. But lots to talk about. Didn't get a chance to do one this weekend, so I'm doing one today. I'll probably have another one maybe tomorrow or Monday, so be sure to check that out. It's slacking on social content. I know that's on me, but we're going to have a lot more coming, I swear. I promise. Thank you for sticking with me. If you've been here long, I'm getting ready. I might do a giveaway here. So we're at this is episode 87. I think I have some gloves that I don't use anymore. So I'm thinking of doing a giveaway for some gloves. I think that would be pretty cool for episode 100, just 100 episodes. I started this last year, so that's pretty dope. So thinking about doing that. If I come across something else I might want to give away, we will see. But right now it's looking like a Rawlings Pro Preferred I might be giving away. So we're going to see how that goes. But anyway, we'll talk about that more as we get a little bit closer. Again, we're only at 87, so we got about 13 more to go. But first on the list, just finished watching the Yankees beat the Orioles 9-0. Clark Schmidt showed up, pitched phenomenal, pitched really good today. Though against the Orioles, who have been struggling just a little bit. But nonetheless, he's been pitching great. And honestly, his last couple starts have been really good. I'm actually going to pull up some of the stats on him because, and honestly, I don't even think Weaver's pitched yet. I don't think they've needed him. But he was activated yesterday or 2 days ago. Let's see what we got here. Where is my dude? Clark Schmidt. Yeah, so Clark Schmidt goes no hit through 7 innings. Which came with some controversy. Yeah, so his last 3 games, he's pitched 6 innings, 7.2. So 6 innings against Kansas City, only gave up 2 hits. Then again, on the 16th against the Angels, he threw 7 and 2/3, 4 hits. And then obviously today against Baltimore, 7 innings, no hits. So he's been really good. And here's the thing with Clark Schmidt, right? So everyone's like, oh my God, pulled him. So again, he gave up no hits today, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. I'm watching the game. In fact, I had just gotten back from the gym and I was getting stuff ready. We were going to have kind of like a chill day. It's a little rainy here in San Antonio. So it's like, I'm going to put some baseball on. We're just going to relax. I get the notification that, Clark Schmidt is no hit through 7. And I get super pumped. I'm like, oh my God, turn the game on, throw the game on. And at that point, by the time I got home and turned it on, they had already put Brubaker in. So I was kind of like flabbergasted. I didn't really know. The pitch count, again, was super. Did not see any of the details of the game. Just knew that Clark Schmidt was no hit through 7. Obviously didn't go back out. And there was a lot. The minute that I saw Brubaker go in there, I was like, I got to go to Twitter. So, of course, people are pissed, blaming Boone. Number one, I tweeted this. I don't understand the Boone slander. I don't understand why people don't like Boone. I don't get it. Okay, he makes a couple, decisions here and there that people are like, I don't know if that was a smart move. But again, from us making, looking out here versus what's happening in there, 2 different worlds, right? So you're never going to be able to quite understand or see the circumstances, and that's in any major league clubhouse, right? So we can only see and speculate as much as we can from here for those decisions like that. The second thing, that was the first. So everyone's shitting on Boone, saying, of course, masterclass, Boone blew it, blah, blah, blah. How do you pull Clark Schmidt there? We're going to get to that. Second thing, people were like, you should have left him in. Why do you pull him? Let him go batter for batter. Okay, those are the 2 things. Now, let me first start off. Okay, so Clark Schmidt, and I did the research as I was watching. Clark Schmidt exited the 7th inning with 103 pitches. It's a lot of pitches. I mean, you got to think he still had the 8th and the 9th to finish. Now, you got to think wishful thinking, he still has another 20 pitches to throw to complete it. If he's at 80, 85 pitches, yeah, you roll him back out. 103 pitches after 7, and that's probably where these walks came in, and maybe some tough at-bats. Maybe I didn't see the whole game. It's a lot of pitches. He has missed part of the season for injury. So that's already weighing in the back of your mind. He's probably already on a pitch count somewhere in there. We don't know that pitch count, but it's probably a number that he can't go past. And I'm assuming maybe it was 100 and he pushed it at 103, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, another 20 pitches. If he wants the no-hitter, it's going to put him like 130 pitches. No, why? Why now? Here's the thing. As a Yankee fan, right, I'm sitting here, I'm like, he already missed part of the year. He's been injured. It's only June. And his last 3 starts have been stellar. Why are you going to yes, a no-hitter is great. It's a personal accomplishment. It's something that's pretty elite in baseball. It's amazing. We get it. No-hitters are cool. Awesome. But do you want him healthy for the rest of the year? I'm talking you need him for July. You already are having a shortage of pitching. You don't have Luis Gil. You've missed Garrett Cole. Max Fried is still Max Fried. He's been pitching really well. But again, you can't rely heavily on just one guy, right? You're going to need all these guys to show up. And Clark Schmidt plays a big role to this bullpen. So you're going to need him. Regardless, you're going to need him. So do you extend him and push past his limit and really strain him for a no-hitter in a 9-0 ball game against the Orioles, who are really no threat at all? I get it. Fans are like, oh my God, they want the no-hitter, but it's not worth it from that standpoint. So I totally agree taking him out of the game. It ain't worth it. You want him in September. You want him in October. You don't need the no-hitter in June against the freaking Orioles, who are in last place. Totally agree. But again, that's my take on the Schmidt no-hitter stuff going on right now. And obviously Aaron Boone came out and was like, yeah, he was past the pitch 103 pitches. What do you want me? That's all I'm going to say on it. Cause it's obvious. Like, he doesn't need to explain, like, you should know, right? It just shows a lot of people on Twitter have no clue how baseball really works. They're just really casual fans. So on the other news, a lot of more slander on Anthony Volpe, who had a rough 27 at bats. People were blowing out of proportion, saying like 80 or I think a lot of it was kind of overblown, to be honest, but it was kind of funny. But yeah, Anthony Volpe went through struggles, and obviously the Yankees have been struggling. They lost, quite a bit of their last couple games. And they finally won against the Angels, and obviously they won. They lost last night. Another tough error by Anthony Volpe, but they came back. So Anthony Volpe's had a lot of criticism thrown on him the last, I'd say last month, really just a couple weeks. But then came out today and had a great game, 3 hits. One was a home run. But 0-for-4, man. He's kind of been on a struggle. But here's the thing, and this is what I stress so much to people. Baseball is a 162 game season. 162 games. That's a long, long season. So even when the Yankees went through this scuffle, this little weird thing where they weren't winning ball games, and even Judge's average dipped a little bit. He's been flirting with 400, and that's kind of become more realistic. I think I'm not going to speak. Where is he at right now? But a lot of guys were just really struggling. They just hadn't been that powerhouse that we had seen, these last couple months. Which is batting average, still batting 367, down about 30 points when he was about 390, 398. He was kind of flirting, still the 1.1 OPS. But yeah, he's kind of struggled a bit. Obviously, he's gotten a couple of hits. He got one hit against the Angels a couple nights ago. Then 3 hits last night against Baltimore. Then he went over today. Sorry. So, it's just scuffles. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, man. It's like baseball is so long that it's almost, these scuffles are inevitable. You're going to hit them. At some point in the year, you're going to hit the scuffles. It's part of the game. You're not going to be nails 8 months of the fucking year, right? It's impossible. It's not going to happen. It's just it's comical to think that some of these people are like, oh my God, the Yankees are scuffling. Like, yes. The people are calling for Trent Grisham, all this. Man, just relax. They're humans. They're going to go through ups and downs. That's how the season goes. It's a long fucking season, man. So I was never actually worried about all that. I figured they were going to pull out of it. And of course, won today, 9-0 convincingly. So hoping that we're going to see some more of that moving forward. But again, the Clark thing and all that, super cool. Brew Baker, I think, got booed because he gave up the hit to Sanchez, which, first of all, that hit should not have happened. That was another blown call by an umpire. And it feels like the umpires, whether it was in the series with, forgot who it was with the DJ call on the foul ball. And it seems like every game, they have really bad base running. Let's just call it for what it is. The Yankees are having some really bad base running outs at the moment. But if you really look at everything else, the umpires are really not on the Yankees side. I mean, that was even so Gary Sanchez got the hit that broke up the no-hitter, and they finished with that one singular hit, which is shitty. And the other thing was that he had a check swing on a 3-2 count, and didn't get the call. And they replayed it back, of course. And it's one of those things where you're just like, motherfucker, right? You're just like, come on, man. And clear as day, broke, right? I mean, it broke the plane. I mean, he was way out. I mean, he went. It was so obvious. And that's another blown call. So again, taking it back, it should have never even gotten to that point. But it is what it is. But again, Yankees are going to finish out the series tomorrow against Baltimore. it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to be watching that. I'm actually missing the Devers playing Boston right now. I'm actually going to turn that on, see if I can get that going here because I don't want to miss that. But that's what's funny. But we're going to talk about some of that Devers stuff because I made a video about it a while back, but we have to kind of cap it out on that. All right. Moving away from the Yankees into my second favorite or second team that I'm really rooting for this year, the Diamondbacks. Now, yesterday, there's I guess music going on here. There's something happening in Arizona, and I've kind of been talking. I mean, like I said like 6 times. I'm in a group with some guys on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, where we discuss the Diamondbacks. Now, I have a theory. So yesterday, and I'm a Zach Gallen fan. I've said that multiple times. I think he's been great last couple of years. This year is really tough. How do I start this conversation here? Because this is going to be far fetched. So yesterday Zach Gallen pitches against the Rockies. Which, side note, the Rockies City Connect hats are badass. The jerseys are a little funky, but the hats are sick. I have one in my cart. I'm trying to convince myself to pull the trigger because it's a dope hat. But so Zach Gallen pitches yesterday. Does okay. I think he gave up 1 run. Let me look up at the box actually, because it was pretty rough. Let's see. I want to pull up the score from yesterday. They're playing again tonight against the Rockies again. That's a late game, man. That's the thing I fucking hate, man. I get these late ass games. These teams that I like want to play at 9:00 at night, dude. I'm asleep, dude. By 10, I'm out. So Zach Gallen still got the win, improves to 5-8, but the ERA skyrockets. All right. So he goes 0-0 and then gives up 1 in the third. I think it was a solo home run. And then the Diamondbacks put 4. So the Diamondbacks scored in each inning, didn't put anything up in the third, and then put up a 4 spot in the fourth. Oy. And then the Rockies came up and put 6 up on him in the fourth inning. Now, here's one thing I'm going to say. Zach Gallen this year has been weird. It's just weird. Different mechanics. He doesn't look happy. And this is something that I've noticed watching. Same with Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly seems funky up there too. He doesn't seem the same guy. And these are guys who in 24 and 23 and in 22 were completely different guys. Merrill Kelly was never a flamethrower. He's kind of a crafty guy. Hit spot up, kind of more of a movement dude. But Zach Gallen had the curveball. He had the cutter. He had the slider and that nasty. And his fastball was like 94, 96. Now we're seeing 93, 94. Again, that still plays. His stuff, and this is what I have a hard time on Twitter, and I argue with people all the time. A lot of people don't understand, right? So his stuff still plays. He's just missing spots. And in the big leagues, you can't miss, especially when you've been in the league for 4 years. They got stats all over you. Now, he goes into the fourth inning and gives up a 6 spot. Home runs, doubles, hits. And here's the thing. So after like they score, it's you got a 6-1 game. And then the Rockies come up. When they put up 4 or 5, don't you think as a coach, hey, call time, go out. The game's obviously speeding up on this guy. Let's slow it down. Let's talk it out. Hey, what's going on? How you feeling? Like, what's the strategy here? There was in the entire inning that they put up 6 on Gallen, there was no mound visit. None. There was nothing. I mean, I think maybe Herrera went to go talk to him, maybe, but no mound visit. That's fucking weird. That doesn't make any sense. So then, Gallen ends up going out. I don't think he went out after he finished the 5th and didn't go out for the 6th, 7th, and 8th, right? But he still gets the win because the next inning, the Diamondbacks again put up 3, ended up, making it a 14-8 game. Now, that right there, and on top of a lot of the issues that have been happening with the Diamondbacks, right? So I screenshotted something else. I don't know, again, this is something that I've talked about with the Dodgers. There's an issue with the training staff of the Dodgers. There's no reason that many pitchers should be injured. That list it's mounting. Even Gonsolin, I think I added to it now. I mean, it's insane. It's insane, that pitching list, where they're having to rush back Shohei Ohtani early because they need an arm. Crazy. Looking at this, the Diamondbacks, again, are another team who have lost numerous pitchers to Tommy John, Corbin Burns, AJ Puk, Justin Martinez, who they ran Justin Martinez out early, I think prematurely, right? So another Twitter page put this out. The D-backs made Justin Martinez pitch through a dead arm, right? He was already injured, came back early, threw 37 pitches, and then blew out his elbow the next appearance he had. That's a big piece. Another one, Gabby Moreno, who now has a hairline fracture in his hand, who broke his hand in Cincinnati weeks ago. They missed it. The training staff didn't understand it. Obviously, he's probably like, I'm going to play through it, but you're supposed to protect your players from themselves because their job is to go out and perform at any means necessary, play and win. That's their job. That's their profession. But the training staff is there to protect them from themselves. Everybody knows that. Any player, if they can manage and play, they're going to do it. But a lot of times, coming from an exercise and sports science background and coming from a fitness, you're not supposed to push through stuff like that because it not only makes it worse, it's going to prolong the injury. So the fact that he had an injury weeks and weeks ago and was playing through it and the training staff never was like, hey, we should probably check that out. Bad. That's the second thing. I mean, you have to at some point realize that this is not all of these things combined. It's looking like there's a staff problem. There's a staff issue all the way through. There's a problem with the staff. It has to be. And then, okay, so yesterday, and again, I've noticed body language. Again, Corbin Burns is a little bit different. He hasn't pitched in a while. Haven't been able to really analyze that. We've had some starters come in and out between Nelson, Rodriguez, Gallen, and Kelly, and Fott. Fott, again, is another guy who's nothing like himself. Had the inning a couple weeks ago when he couldn't even get out of the first. So there's just a lot of stuff happening pitching-wise where you're just like, this is super uncharacteristic of all these guys. And what's the one change? And it's going to be Kaplan, the pitching coach, who they moved Strom over. The Strom left, though Strom was the pitching coach the last 2 years for the Diamondbacks, and then before that it was somebody else. So we can't totally put it on Strom leaving, but at the same time, this has to be a pitching coach. And then the fact that your pitcher's getting absolutely just destroyed out there, and you don't even have the courtesy to go out and talk to him and be like, hey, what's going on? Just to give the dude a breather. What the hell's that? What kind of pitching, what kind of coaching is that? What kind of managing is that? And this all goes back to Lovello, who I've liked him in the past, but this is just not good, man. Not good at all. So my theory, personally, is either that, and I don't think this first, I have two. The first one I don't think is very likely because, of course, it goes on the player, but is Gallen throwing it? He just doesn't give a shit. He's just like, I want the fuck out of Arizona. And if I shit the bed this year, I have Scott Boras. He'll get me a contract, right? So if I shit the bed, they won't try to re-sign me. I won't get a qualifying offer. None of that. I can get the fuck out, or maybe better, they deal me at the deadline and I can get out halfway. That's my first theory. Second theory is that these guys are not happy in that clubhouse playing for this coaching staff. That's what I see. And that's the more probable. And that right there showed it. You've seen a lot of just anger and just animosity. You can feel it in that dugout with some certain players. So I'm just kind of like, I think that there's some stuff happening in that Diamondbacks dugout. And then, of course, the fact that they're on the cusp of 500, they're one of the bigger teams that are poised to sell or buy at the deadline to go for it all. Management or, the GM's already gone out and said, we're going to be buying. And again, right now you can't get shit for Zach Gallen. I mean, if they trade him, I don't know the value that they're going to get. So I don't know if that's going to happen. And they keep saying Naylor and Suarez are on the bubble to be traded. But I'm like, these guys are good. They're still putting up 14 runs in a game. Like, you can still get it if you can get some of these guys right. Maybe fire a coach or two, get some other arms in there. You got a team, man. Like, the team is good. And that's what's more frustrating is, like, they're still winning games. They give up 8 runs and they still manage to put up 14. Like, that's substantial. So just a couple theories out there I'm throwing out there. It doesn't make sense. You don't go from all-star starter in 23, Cy Young candidate last year in 23 as well, to just nowhere near the same guy. Mechanic change, pitching coach change, like a lot of things are aiming at it's the staff, but we'll leave that as it be. Next thing we have to talk about, haven't talked about it, moving away from the Diamondbacks, we have to talk about the Rafael Devers. I haven't made a comment because it happened last Sunday, but we have to talk about it. So last Sunday was Father's Day. I was hanging out with my girlfriend's family. We were, barbecuing, whatever. I went to go see my mom, my stepdad, and we're driving home, and a buddy of mine calls me and goes, hey, did you see the news? And I thought, what happened? Rafael Devers traded for Jordan Hicks and like 2 other people to the Giants. I thought it was fake news. I was like, no fucking way. And it took me about 2 days to really kind of like put 2 and 2 together. Like, if this was actually happening. Like, I didn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. That's the craziest trade I've ever seen. That's the most that's like a Luka trade to the Lakers from, the whole basketball thing that happened. You can't believe it. You're like, what? Why? Now, my theory, and this is stemming back to spring training when I made a video about this whole thing. When Devers was hurt, he didn't want to play in spring training with the big league team, and he was on the backfields, and then came out and had the longest, I think, streak of no hits to start a year in baseball history. Struggled. And here's the thing, and let me give you a short recap of this whole thing. The Red Sox signed Devers to a massive, massive deal. He was the guy they were going to he was going to finish it as a Red Sox all the way through. Third baseman, he was the guy. Then this year comes around, Breslow. Honestly, I get the really bad vibes from that guy all the way through. He just seems kind of like a sleazeball, but I'll keep that on the other side. They go after Bregman, and right then and there, if I'm Devers, I'm kind of like, hey man, what the hell? I'm a Gold Glove. I'm an All-Star. Why did you need to go get Bregman? Put Bregman at second. But then they went and extended Christian Campbell, who is now playing in AAA because he can hit, which I thought was hey, great guy. He can play. He's good. But to extend him when he hasn't even played a game in the big leagues yet, premature. Very, very premature. That was a questionable move. And now here we are once again. He's not even playing. So weird. But my personal thought was you get Bregman and stick him at second. You got Story, stick Bregman at second, keep Rafael Devers at third, Casas at first. You're good. Well, they were like, no, you're going to be a DH. So they make him a DH. He was like, I'm under the pressure. I'm going to be a DH. That's a big move for me. It's different. And it is hard to move from a guy who's playing offense and defense. You got to rearrange yourself. You're just sitting, then you're hitting. You're sitting, and you're hitting. And again, people are going to be like, oh my God, that's dramatic. It can't be that bad. It's a tough adjustment. Believe me, it's a hard adjustment. And he had a tough time adjusting, and then he finally got it, and he was hot he figured it out. He was a problem for a lot of pitchers, man. He was a problem. And then Casas gets hurt, and they're like, hey, would you play first? And he was like, I don't know what's going on. Then they said he might play third because then Bregman was hurt. And I was like, are you going to play third? And he was like, I'm a DH. They told me I'm a DH. That's what I'm going to do. And I think this all goes back to how this shit was handled back in the offseason with when they acquired Bregman, when they had all these plans and they didn't include Devers. They wanted him to be a DH at 28 or 26 or 28. I forgot how old he is, at 28 years old. Come on. That rubbed him the wrong way. There was a lot of miscommunication. It just didn't. It looks like there was a lot of animosity from the management side. And again, this whole trade for basically nothing, truly really nothing. They just gave him away. Was I think a tell that they were just not seeing eye to eye. Devers and the front office was just, they just weren't seeing it. And I think that they thought this isn't going to get better. He's not a team player. We're not going to get anything out of this. Yes, he's mashing, but we're not getting the value. But they did that. They made it that way. They did this whole thing was their fault. It's just a confusing situation. I personally, seeing it from both sides, I think that it falls on both. I think that on one side, it's like you should stick to your word, keep it together, tell me straight up what you want from me, what's the plan. They didn't do that for Devers. But on the other hand, as a ball player, I'm kind of like, hey man, Devers, hey dude, be a team guy. We need you. I know, fuck those guys, fuck the front office. I know it's shitty, but we need you as a team. We need you. And I don't know if that conversation was never had or what happened, but again, didn't go well. And they were like, you know what, we got to get rid of him. And it's a big contract they got rid of for sure, because I think San Francisco's eating all of it. They've wanted a big hitter for some time now. They went after Judge, they went after Correa, didn't get either of those in the past, and they finally got their big guy. And San Francisco's no joke, believe me. They got some pitching, they got some offense. So I think this is a good addition for them. They were like, fuck yeah, we'll do it. We've been wanting to big spend on somebody for a while anyway. So they got that. And now here we are hearing that he's and it's funny because he goes into the press conference is like, I'll play anywhere they want me to play. And that just shows right there that this whole thing, I'm seeing another blown call from the Yankees umpires yesterday. But anyway, I'm just this shows that it was much more that he didn't want to play for them. And there was disconnect there. And that's what caused this whole thing. But crazy enough, the funny thing is that he comes in, after I think he played maybe one series, and then they're playing the Red Sox, and that's happening right now. And apparently he just went deep. So Lots of fireworks happening there. But that's the whole Devers situation in a whole. If you didn't know, I'm sure you have. It's been everywhere. My opinion, summed up TLDR. The Red Sox mismanaged the whole situation. I think it's on them. Had they just been more open, had they been more upfront, this could have all been avoided. But I think Breslow and his whatever he was doing just didn't work. And they fumbled the bag because Devers is a stud. I actually got a Devers bobblehead over there. I don't know if you guys can't see him, but yeah, over there with Pudge when I was at Fenway. Anyway, moving on. Chris Sale has fractured a rib. I think that's what it is. What is it? Yeah, fractured rib cage. So Sale, who threw a great game this happened today, so I think it was 2 days ago, he dealt. Let me see if I can find his stats. Let me see. That keyboard is loud today. Let's find Chris Sale's stats from the last game. Come on. So his last game was against the Mets. 8 2/3, 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. And he made a web gem of a play. Here's the thing with Chris Sale. Chris Sale's a big dude. He is, we haven't seen Chris Sale injured in a long time because he had a great year last year, been leading the Braves even though they've struggled. But the last couple, I think it was last year and the year before after they traded him from Boston, kind of didn't know what you were going to get from Chris Sale. And now he's showing up and he's showing out, man. I'll tell you what, Chris Sale, and he was up there in pitches that people don't want to face because he's got that weird delivery and big old dude coming at you with 96 plus. That's scary. But Chris Sale fractured his left rib cage. And I think, again, this is the only way that this makes sense is it was on the ball that he dove for. So he dove for kind of an in-between hop, in between, in that no man's land between first, second, and pitcher, right on the left side, on the right side of the diamond. He dove, made the play, tossed it. I think they pulled him after that. And probably the adrenaline was going, and he probably didn't feel it till the next day. Yeah, he's got a fracture. Probably felt some discomfort, but fractured his rib cage. He did hit the ground pretty hard. But you're kind of at what cost? At what cost? That's bad for the game, man, because Chris Sale is fun to watch. But it's only 15 days, so you're expecting that he's going to be okay. Again, ribs are one of those things you have to just let heal. There's nothing you can really do. Rest, and that'll fix itself. Can't put a cast on it or anything, right? It's your abdominal area. So it's one of those things. So they're going to have to figure out what to do without him for 2 weeks. It's probably about 2 starts they're going to have to go without Chris Sale, which is detrimental to them who the Braves have been on a struggle bus. They're kind of just getting out and then they go back down and just getting out and then they come back down. And right here, they're on the way back down. So tough. It's tough. Wish Chris Sale the best, but again, we're going to be out without him for about 15 days. Next thing on my list, moving away from Chris Sale, injury city. Okay. So next thing on my list, and I wanted to talk about this last week. I think it was last Friday. So I got about a week ago. Jacob Misiorowski, Misiorowski, I think is how you pronounce it, made his debut last Friday. Let me pull up his stats. Made his debut last Friday against St. Louis, or Thursday, yeah, and then pitched again yesterday. Let me be honest. I saw this guy coming up because I follow some prospect pages and I saw his progression. I thought funky delivery, really violent delivery, which first thing I'm like, how long is he going to last? But I like to keep those comments to myself because once you speak it could happen. But we all know injuries on guys that throw really, really fast is very prevalent. Guys that throw hard, throw violent, it's hard for them to sustain for a long time without getting the surgery. So going to keep that one in the back of my head, but keep it on the back burner. But again, came out and I knew he was ready. We all knew he was ready. If you're not paying attention to prospects in baseball, you should, because he's a stud. So came out against St. Louis, 5 innings of no hit ball. And they pulled him because it looks like he cramped or twisted his ankle in the 6th, which is crazy. They pulled him out, no hit ball. Another guy who got pulled with the no hit situation, but probably best they're gonna carry this guy like this because he's an absolute stud. So threw awesome in his debut. 8 days later, came out and pitched again yesterday. 6 innings, only 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. I think he had a perfect game bid for a bit. Absolute monster. So all I'm saying, guys, he has a 1.64 ERA in the bigs in 11 innings again, super early. But this is exciting. This is something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on for his next start because he's electric, man. You want to watch this guy pitch. You like to see these guys throw. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can complete one of these games, man. He is on to something, in my opinion. He is on to something. So Jacob Misiorowski, I'm going to have to figure out how to pronounce that because I'm going to want to say it. But junior college guy, pretty crazy. Quick recap. Moving away from Mr. Jacob Misiorowski, or however you pronounce his name. The Dodgers Padres series this past week was electric. I saw quite a few people upset, especially if you live in the Los Angeles area. You didn't get to watch any of those games, but I'm from Texas, so I get to watch everything except for the Rangers, and I don't give a shit about the Rangers, though. The Astros are sometimes games I want to watch, which is sad, but I don't get to watch them either. But yeah, so people were upset they couldn't watch it's an electric series. I'm not a Dodgers fan. I'm not a Padres fan. I think that I don't have beef with the Dodgers. I think that they're like the evil empire right now. I think they stole that from the Yankees last year, especially with the amount of free agents they've bought. The Padres are another one of those teams that are very cocky. They're very cocky, but they can be. They have Machado and Tatis on the same team. You've got a lot of swag. I mean, however you want to say it. They got an aura over there in San Diego. A lot of guys that are pretty cocky. I'm not going to lie. So when you put the Dodgers against the Padres, there's already bad blood. There was bad blood last year. There's bad blood this year. There's guys getting plunked. Tatis got hit I don't know how many times. So Ohtani got hit I don't know how many times. But got a one-game suspension. Dave Roberts got a one-game suspension because there was a benches clearing issue when they hit Tatis, and Tatis went down, hit him in the hand, and they were going to brawl. Really, just the managers wanted at each other, from what I saw. I mean, you got a couple guys on the outskirts who were, they were trying to get at it, but really the biggest two pieces you kept seeing Dave Roberts go, I'm going to get your ass. I'm going to get your ass. Man, Dave Roberts was heated, and honestly, here's the thing. Hitting guys is okay. A couple of those were definitely unintentional. But the thing is, it goes back to last year. It goes back to the history between these two clubs. And then here's the thing. And I had a buddy ask me today. He goes, "What the fuck?" We were at the gym, and he goes, "What the hell's going on with this Dodgers Padres series? Like, what happened?" And he's a casual baseball guy, Astro fan. Doesn't watch a whole lot, but everyone saw this. And they hit Ohtani. It was one of those things where you could tell the pitcher. I forgot who was pitching at the time. Drills Ohtani in the leg. And it was one of those things where it's like you're the guy pitching, like you have to do this for your team. Unwritten rule, you have to throw at this guy. I would have a hard time hitting Ohtani, man. I don't want to hit him. He's like a class act. So then they hit Ohtani in the leg with like 100. And this is after everything, right? So he's like, don't worry about it. Tells them, leave it alone, just end it, right? Class act from the dude. I mean, it's hard to hate the guy. You can't. Like, why who picks a fight with that, right? So then, he goes to first base, he shakes Luis Ariza's hand, they're calling it off. So I think that there's some guys who want the beef, some guys who don't. I think this stems managerial wise, personally. But what a great series of baseball, man. It was electric, both sides. I kind of want to see who took the series because that's going to be interesting. These guys are going to meet again, and they're going to meet again, win it. I think they're going to see each other quite a bit in a couple months or so. Let me see if I can find it. But it's just like, this is one of the most electric like rivalries. I mean, the Red Sox, Yankees, they were trying to refuel that with all that. I wouldn't even play baseball if the Yankees offered all that, but it's still not, right now, the biggest, most electric rivalry in baseball is 1000% the Dodgers and Padres. It's hard to argue. Let me see. Because I noticed that a lot of the announcers were like, they're gonna see each other again, and they're 100% gonna see each other when it really matters later down the line. I don't want the standings, bro. I want to see the. Oh, I hit the wrong one. My bad. Come on now. All right, so they saw the second week of June. They saw the Dodgers, and they lost that series. But they played them 9th through 10th, and they played them again in a 4-game stretch through Monday through Thursday. And it looks like they lost that series too. The Dodgers beat them 3 out of 4 times, which is tough. But still 3-6, 6-8, 3-4, 5-3. Good games, so that's what I'm saying. So let's see. They saw each other there. They don't see each other at all in July. They're going to see him again in August for a weekend series. And they're going to see him again the weekend after for another weekend series, one in LA and then one in San Diego. So they're going to see him again. That's what's interesting. And then, of course, you're going to see him in September, at the end of September into October. This is it's going to be electric. I can't say more than that. If you didn't watch the series, go watch the highlights. Those are some baseball games. That's what makes the game fun to watch, 100%. Now, the last thing on my list for the day. And there was another benches clearing incident with Hunter Brown and the Angels who plunked Neto, and Neto wanted to fight, and whatever. I don't quite understand the issues there. Let's see. Astros pitcher confronts Angels shortstop. Actually, the Angels shortstop incited it, but we'll let that slide. Fox News. Benches clearing scene. What the? Yeah, he hit him with the pitch. The Astros were up 2-0. Brown was 0-1 in the count, and then Brown's not. Yeah, right there. It's not on purpose. He had you 0-1, then he drills you in the hand with an inside fastball. He took exception to it. Brown didn't back down. Neto started walking to Neto and barking Brown didn't back down, and Neto started walking to him, barking, blah, blah, blah. Diaz had to hold him back. Bench is empty. Brown was being pulled away. Yeah, so there's just a lot of verbals. Nothing actually happened. No one was really hurt, but Brown's been really good this year, which is exciting. But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I wanted to talk about, and I said this to my buddy this morning as we were talking about it. I'm not an Astros fan. I think that they're for people in Texas, a lot of people bandwagon to the Astros, which is more annoying than them themselves. But they're like, this is the best way I can put it. And I say this every year, whether they start bad, whether they start good, you can just, since 2016, you just can't count the Astros out. You can't, because they're like a cockroach. They don't die. They just keep coming back for more. And I don't know how, with no tools, with tools, their farm has been great. I don't know if it's still as great as it was at one point. There's just they can just do so much with what they have. And that's something that they've been really good at. They've truly, done a lot with what they've been given, which is crazy. Let me see. Let me get some standings here because I want to talk about their their record, because that's the biggest thing. So right now, the Astros are 44-32, who are even with the Yankees, who had the best record in baseball at one point. The Tigers are 48-30. I think the Yankees in their last 2 weeks of skid really hurt their record. But again, the Astros are looking like a strong team. I can't argue it. As much as I don't want to agree with that statement, I have to. You got Jeremy Pena, who's playing really good, who's just absolutely having a year. It's just like Altuve obviously is always there. He doesn't ever go away either. Like, there's just a lot, man. There's a lot. You don't even want to think about it, but you have to, right? Let's see some of these stats here. So hitting wise, let's look from an at-bat standpoint. So Pena's batting 328 with an 869 slug. I'm sorry, a 486 slug, 869 OPS. He's going to be an all-star. Altuve, 269. That's a big drop. After that, it's kind of tough. I'm going off at bat. So Christian Walker, 214. Yanier Diaz, 239. Myers, 307. But not as many at bats. Cam Smith, who's been playing decent, 270. Dubon, 250. Let's look at the pitching wise. Look at the pitching. What we got pitching wise? Because Brown's just ripping it up right now. We'll do it by innings pitched. Framber Valdez, 3.09 ERA. Framber's going to deal. Hunter Brown with a 1.88 ERA in 91 innings. That is impressive. Another all-star shot there. Ryan Gusto, don't know who that is. He's at 54 innings. Josh Hader, 33 innings, 162, so not bad. A lot of guys here that are throwing, man. So again, now they just pulled up that guy Nick Hernandez, who I know him. Montero, they still have Montero. Forrest Whitley, I thought just got traded to the Rays or picked up on something. So again, pitching will be the question here for the Astros. But again, they've had a tough record. They've had a tough year, a tough schedule. So I think that they're just one of those teams you just can't count them out. And I'm surprised myself. When I saw the record this morning, I was like, fuck, I got to talk. I have to bring it up. I have to. From a team that was awful to start the year to be where they're at now, even with the Yankees and in first place, though their division is trash. Again, let's go back and look at the records. I have to. Again, so the AL West is not a good conference. They have to play the Mariners, Rangers, Angels, and Athletics. The Mariners are 2 games above 500, and then the rest are all losing records. It's like one of those things that they're kind of a sure in. They weren't going to really have any competition here. It's going to be when things get tough. I think they're going to get a playoff spot, and from there we will see how how strong these guys really are. Because if they keep playing interdivision, it ain't going to be shit. It ain't going to be shit. But again, we will see. But once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening. Lots and lots of baseball happening this weekend, especially today, right now. Obviously, the Devers versus the Red Sox is happening. Yankees had a no-hit bid through 7. So a lot of interesting stuff happening today. So whatever you're doing, watch some baseball. That's what we're about down here. But be sure to follow us on Instagram, Xtra Innings Podcast. We're gonna have clips on there. Lots of stuff happening there. On Twitter, I'm Elijah Rodriguez. Follow me there. I'm talking baseball pretty much all the time now. It's kind of what's been consuming my days these days, especially in the evenings. I'm talking shit to people and educating people on the game because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. And then, of course, on YouTube, follow, subscribe, comment. Anything on there is good for us. But yeah, guys, again, I appreciate it. We're going to be having 2 episodes a week. So I'm looking to have one either out tomorrow as well on Sunday or maybe on Monday or Tuesday. So just be sure to check that out. Once again, thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.